Okay.
Okay. We're going to call this meeting of the Linton Redevelopment Commission on September 4th to order. We've got roll call. Claudia couldn't be with us tonight. Cheryl, you said was running late, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. And then we had a switch on our committee.
Right, I'd like to announce that Greg Sapp sent an email that he has resigned from the RDC because of the current educational program he's in at West Lafayette. So when I notified me, I got a hold of John Wilkes, and John Wilkes is here tonight. He'll be officially appointed at the city council meeting Monday night, but he is here in Greg Sapp's replacement.
Thank you.
And also I have provided the financial reports from Claudia she gave me to pass out. They're on the table for you for your review. That said, be with it.
Approval of the previous minutes. Greg was acting as treasurer or secretary. Does anybody have those? I've asked him for them today, but I didn't get back.
I didn't receive them.
I did not receive them.
So yeah, I know from my notes last time I was reviewing, we tabled Crossroad Enterprises' this business plan as they weren't here, and we went through the funding programs and we set up some committees to plan out, and then Greg was going to follow up on those, and I think that's on the agenda tonight to move that forward.
Yeah.
Let's make a motion to approve the minutes as they are.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as you submitted.
Yes, that's what we got, so.
I'll second.
Okay, in favor?
You are voting.
I can?
Yeah, I am not, you are.
Okay, I know since I haven't been sworn in. Okay, yeah, I'll be fine.
Okay. Motion passed. Treasurer's report.
So technically the treasurer is Claudia.
Yeah, and I was gonna
She's
say,
able to attend tonight.
So she just left us a copy
Yeah.
of.
yes, do we normally read it through it? Is that how?
You don't have to. It's one of those things where it looks like we did have an expenditure to Crone and Associates, and that would probably have been for our reporting that we have to do for the Gateway site. So, and that was for an amount of $650. We did see, when was our last meeting? Date-wise, May, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we did receive a distribution.
Okay,
They're $41,376.95. So
that's leaving the balance as $257,424. That,
yeah, 256,
256.
774.
774.13.
Yeah.
Far bottom right.
okay, I was seeing the current balance up top, okay.
The question is that distribution once a year or every 6 months?
It's every 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So distribution wise, if I can remember right, typically the larger distribution of the two is in the spring. And then the
I thought that,
December distribution, I think, is generally smaller.
okay, I thought there was two. Okay, thank you.
But I have no questions. Anybody else has any questions? I'll make a motion. We
I do
approve
not.
the treasurer's report.
I'll second it. All in favor? Okay. Moving on to old business, prior to the last meeting, Crossroad Enterprises had submitted their business plan and wanted to request some funding options. I think Harold's with us tonight, and would you like to discuss through that? What your plan is and what you were looking for in that
Yes.
aspect?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm gonna withdraw the request. It's my understanding that I'm not eligible for the engineering fees. So I'm going to withdraw that request. That was for the engineering fees. I do have an attorney that is working on something, so I'm gonna wait. He's not here tonight. Before I start the next project, I plan on putting 5 apartments in 5 business spaces. I put that on my social media page, but I have to have the attorney draw all the official requests up before I ask for the next phase of the project. So that's gonna take a few months to get that in place before I can start my permitting process. However, I spoke with the mayor the other day, and I'd like to walk over and show you guys the next request that I have. The city sidewalk state came down. It has to be 5 feet is the code, 5-foot sidewalk. So I'd like to put parking, 2 rows of angled parking. I've got pictures. They're coming now. I'll give those to you before we leave. And I'm gonna need an access from Vincent Street for the parking. So that will be later on. But right now, that's gonna have to sit for 9 months to 12 months to let it settle. So in the meantime, I'm gonna ask the Redevelopment Commission. I've got an idea, somebody help me with an idea for a curbed bed, the length of the sidewalk, approximately 120 feet in length, 4 feet wide, with landscape rock and some evergreens that are approximately 5 feet in length. And I do have some pictures of that. The cost on that here is, if you'll pass that around, Jared. This is a cost of, I tried to get 2 estimates.
These are copies, Harold.
Yeah, those are copies. I talked to the folks out west of town. They were not able to do the job, so I did try to get 2 different prices. This is from Levi Signature LLC, and this is for landscape only. It would cost $11,988 for the material and labor. And I have pictures that I can show you, and if you have time, we can walk across the street. And then the concrete is not on that, but it's an additional $9,200 for the concrete curb. So that would be a 6-inch concrete curb, approximately 120 feet in length. There would be 3 walkthroughs, so people that were in the parking lot could walk onto the city sidewalk. And I will give you the photos before the meeting's over tonight. So the total would be $20,988. I was gonna do a 1 foot, but I think it would really benefit the downtown area to make it, to take some of where the city sidewalk was, make it 4 feet. And I think that would really be a big improvement. So I'm asking for the Redevelopment Commission to donate $15,000 toward that cost of $20,988. Now my business would also, at my cost, would put in irrigation. They recommended that it be watered daily for a year. So I would pay that. I would ask for the city to take care of the water just that first year. It's an empty lot, but I would put it on an automatic timer, and then we'll keep that watered. You know, I'll put in like an irrigation system to water the state came down the other day, and they said that the smaller evergreens would also slow people down. It would be a deterrent, kind of slow people down naturally. So they use that in planning now for intersections and stuff. People are like slowing down to see what the greenery. So my request would be for $16,988, and I would pay, Crossroad Enterprises would pay the remainder, and that would be on the city sidewalk. There would still be the minimum standard of 5 feet, and the concrete guy knows where that would end.
So just out of curiosity, maybe the pictures will explain it
Yes.
more, but this is like a permanent thing, not just temporary.
This is permanent, yes, yeah.
Here's kind of a sketch.
Oh, okay.
There's a sketch, and I've got color pictures. I went to print them and it didn't get done, so my wife is bringing those.
And this is to be on private property or?
City.
This will be on the city property.
This would be on the city property. There might be a small section on my,
So
that
this-
section
Are
there.
you,
Yes, sir.
Harold, are you gonna take the sidewalk out and replace it? Is that what you're gonna do?
That would include taking out the sidewalk, replacing it, and there would be a 6-inch curb with 3 walkthroughs, and Mr. Carr would be able to comment on that more.
There's damaged areas up there that we know that have to be replaced when the building hit. So when we're taking that out, well, our thoughts was where the building butted up to the sidewalk currently, it's rough edged because the building kind of went in and out, and then during demolition, there's some stuff that's chipped. So what we'd like to do is go back, and what we're basically talking about is probably saw cutting 2 feet of your sidewalk coming towards the highway, clean that edge up. I have to do that if you're gonna plant trees there, because there's like an 18-inch brick wall right beside the sidewalk. And I've chipped it off down low enough that you could plant flowers or something there. If you're gonna do trees, I need to open that up a little bit, go down in there and remove some concrete, put topsoil and stuff back in, then we can put our curb combination in. And what that does, that'll give you a nice clean edge, let it up to your sidewalk. And we're gonna have to take part of that sidewalk back to get forms in to do the thing, but then we'll pour new concrete, you know, a ledge. Kind of what we're doing up there beside the barbecue place. I don't know if anybody noticed, but
I've noticed something was going on there.
they're wanting to put outdoor seating out there.
Right.
So it was kind of messed up where the basement was, where we done demolition. So we took that out and the sidewalk screwed up there. So we put a clean edge, but if they can come back and replace it with a new sidewalk, then you'll have 2, you know, nice clean edges, and there'll be outdoor seating, you know, with lighting, and it's gonna be a big plus. You know, it's gonna be, if they don't wanna do something, you're gonna have rock or just a plain Jane, whatever right up. But that's kind of a focal point for your downtown, you know? I mean, I see, you know, you got people at the coffee shop sitting over there. You know, I was talking to Shad and everybody, said, you know, that'd be nice to have some green space over there, and it would. You know, it does bring an element to something that we're either gonna have rock and some curbs, or we're gonna do something nice, you know, so.
Then the second, yes, ma'am.
So you said there's gonna be 5 parking spots, is that correct?
No, most likely 18 to 20.
And
that
who will
mu-
be, is that just
That will be
open for
So
public?
that 5 will be dedicated for the apartments.
Okay.
And then the folks that have the businesses will have 5 for them. So we're looking about 20 to 22. It depends on what the engineer says. It's gonna cost me $25,000 for engineering fees, and he will tell me, he'll coordinate with the state. I did talk to the state. They said it would be best to one way to come off of Incense. They don't want people coming in the alley, pretty much. So whatever the engineer says, but up to 20. And when I show you the pictures, you'll see what they are.
And I get completely having designated for spots for your business and then the apartments, and I think it'd be a great asset to the downtown to have that, cause that was my first thought when the building came down. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that'd be a great place for parking, you know,
Right.
so.
And it's important to note that it's not paid parking, you know, whenever the businesses aren't open or something, it's gonna be a huge asset to downtown, because you got people that's gonna come and use it, you know, that's going out to eat and everything. And that's a big problem downtown, and it solves a lot of issues.
Are there guarantees that parking wouldn't become completely private, like back in this lot here?
No, I'll sign a statement. As long, I just don't want long-term parking. Somebody to park an abandoned vehicle there. That would be my only thing. Yeah, I have no problem with the community. I'm trying to help people, help businesses. I wanna encourage people to come down. So,
Sorry, assuming you're 5 apartments, 5 spots, are they just 1-bedroom units? Is that what you're planning?
most likely 1 bedroom. I gotta find out, it's all about what code says I can do. I don't know. I've never done this before on that. Above a commercial space, I gotta, you know, I'm open to suggestions too, you know.
This
yes.
probably ties into one of our later agenda items as far as the evaluation process for projects, so that might be good to get into, so we can evaluate things like this and discuss these things.
Yeah, we're going ahead and placing some infrastructure in for this. You know, the sewer line's already run in for the new building, because when the building collapsed, there was a sewer there, so we tapped into what it is, run it on over. We're gonna go ahead and run the water and put it in. When we got the sidewalk up, there's no sense in coming back and having to cut that out later. And we wanna put it underneath our planting bed, so we'll sleeve it. So if there's ever problems, they don't have to tear it out, they can run a new line in, run a new line out, you know, just trying to think forward.
And Chris, when we were talking that one day, didn't you say something about putting benches in there too, a couple of benches in that?
Yeah, we've talked about that. It'd be nice to have maybe a couple benches, maybe right up next to the curb. There's gonna be enough room, and when you guys, if we can go down and look at it sometime or whatever, you're gonna see what
Okay,
we kinda have in mind, but
Okay.
it's not gonna be that invasive. I mean, we wanna take some of the sidewalk, but that sidewalk was extra wide there because the building's set back off the road.
well, I see nothing, in fact, you know, when I was mayor and we started this TIF district, the thing we were wanting to do is beautify the downtown and get our sidewalks fixed and do these kind of things, so I would see nothing wrong with it. I think it would be an asset downtown.
And that's, I think in the plan that Annie put together was part of that and infrastructure. Because one question I just got on the landscaping, I know you said you're gonna put in irrigation, but whose responsibility is gonna be to maintain it? You're gonna keep that maintained, okay.
Maintained, yes.
Did you do a study on the type of evergreen that you're gonna plant there? I mean, like as far as
I
roots?
don't know yet, I don't know anything about that, but
Okay.
the guy that I went on their recommendation, on this company's recommendation. It's gonna be low maintenance, it's not gonna get very tall,
Okay,
3 or 4 foot wide. He wasn't able to be here, he could tell you all about it.
okay,
And then in between the evergreens, there's gonna be like a annual grass that comes up, a really neat looking. I know nothing about plants, but it's really cool looking.
okay.
So, and then I got a second agenda item as well. We're gonna start outdoor seating at 49 North Main. We poured the concrete pad, so that is gonna be 12 by 100 or 12 by 65, and most of that will be for outdoor seating. And then eventually, I had shared some photos last year that I wanna put in some military flags in the middle, and then get stamped concrete that looks like a railroad track. And then eventually do a wall mural on the east wall to the south wall of the history of coal in Greene County. Coal, railroad, and faith. Starting on that wall, working back underground coal mines, and then trains. So I'll be looking, once I get to that point, for people to give ideas, the community, maybe to have a contest where people can submit ideas or the drawing for that. And then we'll fund that. My business will fund that. So,
I think that will look really good.
yeah, and that would be a draw. The goal is to get people downtown, the military flags, and then Cole, hey, let's stop down here and check this out. Go to Dyer's, get some clothes, get some food, flowers.
There you go.
And you guys can really use this as like a model because it's a big problem for these cities. You know, I do demolition work all around. And it's gonna end up, there's a lot of holes in these towns where buildings are missing. And if we can get creative, you know, with some cool lighting, some outdoor seating, you know, something.
Yeah.
You know, because there's nobody standing in line here to rush and build these holes that we've created, you know. And unfortunately, it's a necessity because the buildings have become, you know, disrepair, you know, and you have to do it. But if you can come up with neat ideas like this to set your town apart and somebody drives through and they say, well, look at that, that's neat. You know, and Sullivan over there, when we done one, we took the building completely out, but left the facade. So we cut a hole in, we went in and demoed the building back behind. They left the old facade and they put in like a little sidewalk that went through it. There was a little garden space in there, which, you know, it's neat. You know, they're focal points for your town. And that's what we want. You know, that's why I'm kind of passionate about it. I'm happy to see things getting done because I do care about this town.
Isn't that part of Energize? Those were some of the
Yes.
plans that.
Yes. Yeah, we've got a whole plan of what we want. Ours, of course, are not on that scale. You know, ours, we started with the benches and the trash cans. Now we're going to, there's flags ordered that will be passed out, just to make everyone kind of look similar. But we do have some more plans coming.
I think that's the important thing for all these ideas is having a cohesive plan
Sure.
so that everything is working together.
Yes.
And that we don't have these silos working in different areas where it's all cohesive, so we have
Right.
that bigger.
And that's why I told
Game
Bill
for
when I
the
got
team.
involved with this over here, I said, I care about this town, I wanna see your plans go forward, because there's not a lot of people pulling this kind of money in downtown. So I said, I'll help you hook up your sewer, I'm not charging for that, I was there anyway, had my machine there, I said, I'll hook it up for you. I'm gonna help him get his water line across, I wanna help him kick start it a little bit, if I can,
That's why I wanted to share, I'm trying to communicate the future and make sure it does work out, And we do have a plan that we had constructed, I guess, what's the gal's name that put the?
Annie McComb?
Yeah, so we had a plan put together so we can see where all these pieces fit into the plan that the consultant put together based on conversations with,
Sure.
I believe, Harold, you had conversations with Ann and different
Yeah.
groups, and so the more we can do to keep everyone moving in the right direction, the better.
And he's took it far enough now that I think you can see it visually, you can say, okay, well, I can see the rocks that come here, planter's gonna be here. I didn't wanna wait forever, cause I got machines sitting there, I wanna get the wall down, get the concrete in.
I think for the purposes of review for us, what we worked on last meeting was getting a structure in place so that when people bring us plans, we can have a fair evaluation. That way, depending on whoever comes in, so we have a system where we're reviewing these plans. So I think what would help is as much detail as possible being submitted so that everyone can see the big picture. We can
Right.
weigh that, because at some point, hopefully, we've got many people coming with ideas, right? And we want to make sure that we've got this TIF funding available to fuel those ideas. So that would be my thing, and that's what we're gonna touch on the agenda, is having as much detail on the plan as possible.
Yeah, I've got pictures of
What's it
it.
look like long-term, like my question about the public parking, things change, right? Things change, circumstances change. So if we are making investments on private property.
Yeah, I think at some point, if most of this is on city property or right of way, I mean, at some point, something needs to be done with the sidewalk. I mean, it's caved in or buckled in a couple spots.
Well, that's what we would do, with you guys like the planning bed idea? It's going, we're gonna rip it out and then replace all of it.
Who's responsible, like from the building collapse, the damage on the sidewalk, who's responsible at that point on materials that were damaged? Is that part of the?
Liability. My policy.
That's what my question is.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Does that fall into it, or is it just the building itself, the cleanup?
Here's one set.
Liability, just liability, and take the picture of the.
Just one page, Harold?
No,
Okay,
this is the second packet. All that was part of one.
so here's your.
Oh, my fault.
Here's the next one.
Something else, trees downtown will help with the lights too.
Yeah,
Here's another one. How many more do we need?
one more after this one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm hiding yours.
Okay, here's one, the final one.
So out of curiosity, is the property line, was that right where the brick began?
We have no idea.
You don't know, okay, I was just curious. How the work
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah, that's, cause there's right of ways.
From the lamp post towards where the building collapsed, they said 5 feet is what.
Yes.
The city's part.
Yeah, that's a right of way, I guess.
So
for the
now
state.
Yes, sir.
State right of way.
Now that the pictures are here, this is what they would be here. They would be, evergreens, approximately 5 to 6 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, and then the larger rock. Not the big ones, not the 4 foot by 4 foot, just the larger river rock. And then on the diagram here, we would include 3 walkthroughs. So if you're in the parking lot, that you wouldn't have to walk all the way down or walk through. And then this, obviously the other picture here would be later on, when I get the engineering study done, I'm gonna ask for an access to the parking. And there will be double parking. You're gonna have parking on the right and you would have parking on the left, which is not pictured here currently. And these trees are not being
Parking on this side of that.
Yeah, on the
first
left-hand
entrance.
side, this will be moved over. Yeah, that was just a rough sketch. to
And
begin
then
with.
no parking the other way is just an,
It'd be this way and this
exit.
way.
Gotcha.
And the gazebo would be right up, the island in the middle would be right up, I call it green space, it would be up next to the buildings.
Thought it would take too much if you put it in
Yeah.
the center for parking.
So originally, this top picture, we had one access so you could get right up next to the building. But now that we've got it laid out, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to move the island right up next to the businesses. And then you could have 2 rows of angled parking, which is not depicted in this setup yet.
Okay.
So that island there would be right up next to the front doors, yeah, and we plan on a gazebo, as long as we have enough. Once the engineer draws it out, I wanna have a gazebo, so that could be a focal point. We'll have power in the gazebo.
Mhm.
People wanna rent that place, for an event or something, they could come out there.
Are there any infrastructure requirements on the city's part that would be needed?
Well, that would be later, after the engineer, I would have to have access, I would ask the Redevelopment Commission to put that access in from Vincennes Street to the parking lot, and that would be part of redevelopment. But I don't know the cost.
Your city council would have to approve the
Okay.
access from that. Then you said something about water,
Yes,
basically that the council would have to
Okay,
approve.
sure.
Anything, basically, anytime you have anything to do with utilities or streets, the city council would
Okay.
be the ones to make approvals on that.
On this first page, I see you've got like a concrete next to your American flag.
yeah, so that was a rough, original rendering. On this photo, there's 2 mailboxes there. If you see on the
Oh,
bottom.
yes.
But right now, the American flag is in the middle on Highway 59. I think I'm open to suggestions, but I think it would be nicer to put the American flag where the mailboxes are at. And then on a corner, there would be a big monument that would say Wolford Plaza, 1903. So
Okay.
when people stopped at the stoplight, they would see Wolford Plaza and a big American flag. There used to be 100-foot American flag in the intersection back in the day. There was a 100-foot flagpole out there. But I think it would be better in the corner than in the middle. So more people are gonna see it on the corner.
So to be clear, you're asking for $16,988 from the redevelopment. Commission,
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
And then your cost was going to be, was it 4,000 or 5,000 as far as?
Whatever, I don't have the math here in front of me. 16,000, I would pay the balance of $20,988.
So 4,000.
Correct, yes. And then I will maintain it, I will put water in it, and keep it watered. We'll do an automatic sprinkler system. And this is just an idea of what it would look like, the pictures of the curb. That's kind of what the sidewalk, you would have the sidewalk, you would have a curb, and then you would have 3 walkthroughs randomly, appropriately spaced.
How long, I mean, I know you said, Chris, you were gonna basically start getting stuff. How long do you think this till completion on?
Once approved, less than 30 days. The guys are ready to go.
It's a week.
Yeah.
I like it.
If I had a saw cut,
Nice.
had a machine sitting there, we could one, and then they can form it pretty quick and pour it. And, you know, you'd have to wreck your forms off after it's set, then fill back in with concrete up next to the curb. And then the rest of us just dump a little bit of dirt in there and go on. I mean, it wouldn't take that long.
But it still has to set for, right?
No,
The property doesn't have to
not this
set?
part.
No,
Okay.
this would be separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the property we won't touch, I'm not gonna do anything else there. I did install a light in the alley, temporary power, and a light on the inside, just to keep brighten it up a little bit. Until something happens, you know.
But where the crawl space is for the current building, we put a shed in there and like a little.
I
sump
should
pump
explain
just to
that as
kinda
well, you know.
Maintain it, you know, because we don't want water sitting up next to other people's buildings. So we put some rock around it, put a sump pit in, and just to keep it dry until we figure out what kind of wall forms we're gonna have to use. Because being a commercial building, you have to, you know, you just can't go in there and do it like everything else.
So it is gonna see, it'll be gravel, but it goes down, because that will be a crawl space for the new construction. Just in case anybody asks,
I
what,
saw where you put
and I put
walls.
fencing up, walls to keep people from walking into the project.
We didn't see no sense in filling it up for safety reasons and then have to dig it all back out.
Yeah.
So typically past, in what Jared's gonna talk about too is, you know, there's not a good system right now in place, to, okay, how exactly do we just give you the money, you know, different things. Typically in the past, like when we've paid for things, it's been the city had done it or Energize had done it and they turned it in the invoices to us. Is that your same thought process?
My recommendation would be the redevelopment commission pay the people doing the work. I don't want anything to do with the.
Okay, that
I
was
will pay
gonna be
I would pay
question.
my portion, and then you guys pay directly to the person.
My recommendation at this time is, you know, it's one of those things where you came to us previously with, you know, with architecture and stuff like that, where this is something that the citizens, you know, the downtown businesses, everybody's gonna benefit from. So with that being said, like Mayor Wilkes said, the original intent of a lot of these dollars was for beautification of downtown. So with that being said, I will make the motion that we approve $16,988 for this project.
And I would second that.
With it to be paid, invoices turned in, you know, once work's completed to the city of Linton Clerk Treasurer's office to be paid.
Yes.
Now, with that, do we want something in writing for the parking in the future? Like, I don't know.
He's on video right
I
now.
will.
That's true.
Once the next step is gonna be get an engineer fee, and the attorney will approach with the next request. So it has to be done by an attorney, so that will be involved in that. We can address that, because we're not gonna do any parking or anything for 9 months to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we wanted our motion to be contingent on the future use of that parking or not.
I mean, right now, it's more of the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
The
will.
curb piece, yeah.
The balance that you-
Sidewalk and the curbing, I would, yeah.
The balance you've offered to pay, is that a portion of the concrete? Is that how did you determine
Yes.
what portion you need to pay versus what you requested?
For the concrete,
Okay,
for any portion will be on my side.
gotcha.
So labor on my
I'm just
side,
curious how
yeah, that's what I
works.
was thinking, the city side, majority would be on the city,
And just out of
my portion would be. Yes, sir.
curiosity, on the sake of everybody saving money, have you turned the damage to the sidewalk into your insurance?
It's going through the process right now.
I was just wondering if that would offset any of this too, potentially, if
Not
they
that.
pay
No,
part
not
of
liability.
the replacing the other piece of sidewalk, okay.
Is that what you're saying, because that would have been a portion of the sidewalk?
Yeah, I guess are we, part
It
of
would
what
have
we're
had to
paying
been
for?
replaced. If
Yeah.
that sidewalk was there, it would have had to been replaced.
Yeah, well,
So are we reducing the cost of the
I
replacement?
don't know about
by-
that, I can have to, that's a question.
okay, I was just, yeah, because I assume you're gonna fix the existing sidewalk along the highway that's damaged.
Yes, that's
when
why
you
we're
fix
wanting to get it all
part of
done at the
this,
same time. It doesn't make sense
They're
to,
taking out that sidewalk too. right?
Yes.
They'll take that sidewalk out and put it in and put the whole thing in, so that's what
Yeah.
it would be.
No,
That was curb island.
The bid, the bid that I give you is only for,
The curb island and landscape.
the other bid for the repair has been turned in.
Okay, so that's separate,
that's-
that's not a
separate.
part of
That was
this,
my-
okay.
Yeah, separate-ish, yes.
Okay, I thought that was part of this.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
now I understand, no.
okay, that makes sense then. Yeah. I think we had a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Right.
We got through part of our new business there, I think, too, so, but on the whole, remainder of is, on the old business is the funding plan programs. And Greg had put most of that together, and we don't have a whole lot of that
Should,
yet.
should we at least touch on the
Yeah,
purpose of it?
I was gonna say, I think we need to at least go ahead and figure out who's gonna take the lead now.
Yeah.
And get those moving forward.
I mean, is it
because-
is it worth mentioning what we're going after with that program, just to make people aware?
Oh, yeah. So I think the main one was facade program to match some funds to, or I guess it'd be reimburse a matching fund back to people up to, I think it was $10,000 for building beautification improvements, that kind of stuff.
But backing that up, what we're going after is a system so that we can effectively evaluate opportunities to use state
Yeah.
funding.
Okay, yeah.
So the plan is to roll out multiple programs that align with the cohesive plan we put together, so that, as, like I say, hopefully we have more people coming in for this money. We have a good system for evaluating good opportunities, because it seems like we have a lot of money, but it's not. And we have to understand that the TIF district also falls outside of downtown, and that there are also other needs that these funds can cover as far as infrastructure upgrades and things like that. So the plan is to create programs where we have more guidelines for folks. We have forms and where you can present documentation, and it's easier to digest and evaluate. So that's where that program is headed as far as rolling out these programs. So I don't want people to think that the facade program is it.
Okay,
The plan is we'll continue.
yeah, that was just the first one that we kind of started on, so. I guess with that, trying to remember where he was in that.
I think we're gonna have to get some information from
Yeah.
him and basically do a little homework.
So do you
Yeah.
table that until?
Yeah, I would think so.
Table, and I can follow up with Greg
Just
again
with
and try
his
to
basically unable to be here, and
make sure we have all of his things he had put together, because he had quite a bit of it laid out.
he put together a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
Whether it's conversations or even if he could potentially make time to attend the next meeting and kind of discuss, the intent, even if we have to have a special meeting for him to come. I know he's busy, but I think he was a big vocal point of it.
So we tabled that. Does that require a motion for a table?
Or make a motion, we table,
I'll second.
all those in favor.
Right.
Okay. On to new business. The scheduling of meetings, coming up with the cadence and when we're gonna do them. I think Jared had suggested monthly meetings,
As opposed to the quarterly.
yeah, as opposed to quarterly. And I know for myself, I think that's important to keep things moving forward. Taking 3 months between every decision just drags it down.
It was one of those things where originally there was no money.
Yeah, there was nothing much to do.
Then it was one of those things where there was no money to spend or do, so we just met with requirements,
Yep.
so I do think it's important we start meeting.
And really, I just guess, just for information, we've not really had much money until the last 2 years.
Correct.
Yeah, so.
background wise on that was there were some things that had to be fixed. But also the original, it was 3 to 3, C to C. And then when it was barbelled out to behind Walmart, then basically that was all farm ground until ProMark and the other things
Well, when
started
they
going in.
Yeah, when they started, we started talking about putting that into an industrial park, and it was farm ground. Then we talked with the TIF, we talked, well, let's barbell out and pick that up. When it was assessed as farm ground, then as they started building, that's why there was no money coming in at first. But after those buildings and got everything, then we started getting money. But there wasn't, when I was mayor, we had very little money coming in, but it's all started.
They called it too the Swiss cheese method, where there was losers per se, basically, that was dragging the district down. So they allowed, legislations allowed us to basically go in and say, oh, we're eliminating this one, we're eliminating this one.
Yeah.
And so we worked with Crowe and Associates on that. So that's helped tremendously.
Yep.
Anybody have suggestions? Do we want to look at a monthly meeting?
I don't know if we want to get where it's, a certain Monday or
I would think, yeah, regular cadence would be the
helpful.
easiest.
I
schedule.
would, because I think the things that you guys have got planned, we ought to get on a monthly schedule and put things together. I mean, we've got something going now, you gotta start it, so, let's see if it'll snowball and continue.
Anybody have any suggestions? Everybody else probably has busier schedules than I do, so.
I can tell you when I can't do them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Does it-
if you know, it
does
I
it
doesn't,
have
can't
to
do
be-
I can't do second Tuesday, I can't do third Tuesday, I can't
Does the
do.
actual date need to be decided at the meeting, or can we just vote on to move to monthly cadence and then work out the schedule?
Oh,
that would probably be
So-
fine as well.
Okay.
As long as we post plenty of notice ahead of time.
So we're still open to the laws.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can send out emails
And
amongst, us.
So we're not really taking action by choosing the date, but we probably should,
Yep.
you guys probably should vote on.
That we wanna move to monthly.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I'll make a motion to move our meetings to monthly.
I'll second.
all in favor? Motion passed.
That would be basically decided.
Yep, we can figure that out, so. Okay, the next new business item, this was suggested by Greg and got on here, was possibly earmarking some funds for larger infrastructure projects down the road, especially out on the east side if there needed to be upgrades, something like that. He didn't really make any suggestions on anything beyond that.
I think too, I've talked to General Manager Brent Slover, and they're talking about water lines and things downtown and different things, and some of this money, if we needed match money, some of that could be used to help with that. Because they gotta get those water lines out of the street, and I mean, they're starting to come together with a plan, what they're gonna do, so, we need to work with him too, we need to get the utility people involved when we start.
Does it make sense to earmark a portion of the current balance and then going forward a percentage, or does it need to be that granular on how it's earmarked?
I would think just a portion at this point and readdress it later, because we know if we're not needing it, there's no point in letting it sit there.
So is Slover, are the city's looking at doing grants, and if you're talking match money,
Pardon?
the city's looking at doing grants, applying for grants, if you're looking at match
I just had a
money?
brief conversation
Okay.
with Brent, and I know, because I know in the past, we've got issues with the water lines out here. I know he's gotten a price of $3 million some to put new water lines in, but then that's gonna involve, they're gonna move it out of the street into the sidewalk, so they're gonna have to tear sidewalks up. So that's why we wanna be careful about, spending too much money on sidewalks. But I think we need to get the utility people involved in it too. And not that all this money has to go for that, but like Jared says, this money needs to be used for different things and earmarked for different things.
Greg was always quick to remind us, was good about reminding us about the industrial park area, because it's easy to forget. We
Yes.
all want downtown to be the heart
Yeah.
of town, but it's not the only thing.
And some of that money should be put aside because if you get ready to do something out there, you're gonna need match money for it.
Yeah.
We
And
did, when
we
we
don't-
put the utilities in out there, we got that grant through ROI and got the money to put the utilities in. So there's, we need, and the biggest part of this money now is coming out of the industrial park. It's
Is
not
there-
coming from downtown.
Do you have a number that you think would be appropriate to earmark from the current balance?
I don't, Jerry, like we can think about it, but I don't have any definite money ideas. I don't know of anything right now. I know we've been trying in the past to get, different companies, but right now I don't know of anything that's on the horizon.
I mean, I guess I just didn't know what's helpful. Is $50,000 helpful, or is it more like $150,000?
Well, I'd say if you earmark something like 50,000, make sure that stays in there, that amount now, and then as we go along, we can always increase it. But I would just like to, because they are the ones that's pumping all the money into this, so I think we should take care of them.
And like say, if it's downtown, if we've got to put new water lines in for development or new electrical or whatever, we want to make sure that we're able to support
We can
that.
help with that.
I mean, we right now, even with what we've appropriated tonight for Harold, his project, it still leaves us, just shy of 240,000
Yeah,
in there. I mean, so even with the things that we're talking about doing with, the facade, I think we talked about kind of earmarking 50 for that. I think that's what was earmarked for that, so.
For the facade program.
Yeah, it's 50.
And I mean, so that still leaves us room to make improvements. I'm one that definitely, I don't wanna ever deplete this fund, because I remember when we didn't have anything, but at the same time, getting programs going and like you said, making sure that we earmark some money for infrastructure and different things, I think is important.
Is 100,000 the number then to keep back for that?
I would say so.
I mean, that's just a stab. I mean,
So
it's
is
like I
that,
say, I don't know what kind of a dollar amount.
I don't either. I just had.
42,000 went in this year.
Pardon?
42,000 went into the fund this year approximately.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the TIF, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, opportunities where if a big corporation's bringing out a factory and we've got to run massive amounts of infrastructure, what kind of number would be helpful from that TIF fund for a project like that? Yeah.
Well, and the TIF can't fund all that. I mean, we can
Right.
be part of it.
Right.
And I'd like to see some of the money earmarked for downtown too, for what you're talking about, your beautification downtown and sidewalks, because I mean, the whole downtown area needs to be made into a walking community. And we've got sidewalks that need to be replaced all around.
And the
town.
infrastructure, I think we earmark for infrastructure doesn't necessarily have to be just for out there. I
Right,
mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
specifically infrastructure that supports the plan and
okay.
businesses and developments.
I say let's table it and have a discussion, as we get more information on what, Greg had talked about.
Maybe include Brent Slover.
Yeah. Because I don't know what kind of timeline they're working
Yeah.
on.
It's a great idea, just how much should it be?
Yeah.
At
So
this
that we
point,
aren't hampering other efforts to.
Do you have a question? We showed the mayor walk down and Brent to look at the sidewalk in front of the restaurant there that's damaged. Will that come out of redevelopment funds to fix that? That was already pre-existing.
oh,
Where he's putting his outside seating area.
Yeah, on the main walkway.
Yeah,
The sidewalk was damaged probably when,
When the city tore it down.
yeah, tore it down for the city.
So
a
it should
long
be
time ago.
replaced.
There's an old water
On the-
meter.
On the city's dime though, right? Not on not on the city's dime.
Oh, come on, Jared. I don't know where we get it out of the city.
There's a water meter there that doesn't need to be there anymore either,
Yeah.
so it can be taken out. And it's not that big of a section. It's
Meaning-
just right in front of where the Kennedy
I
building is.
wonder how much it'd be, You have any idea?
and could we save a little money if they poured it all at the same time while the
That's
trucks
what-
and guys are there?
Yeah,
I'm gonna text him.
The,
Get an awful lot of money in that lot already. city.
In the Kennedy line.
Cause didn't TIF pay for all the tuck pointing?
I'm gonna say TIF
Yeah.
paid for the TIF district paid for the tuck pointing on the walls down there. Then, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I've slept since then, whether or not the city or the redevelopment commission paid for the demo on that.
I was thinking redevelopment paid for that demo, or at least a portion of it.
Redevelopment paid for that,
Or at least.
taking the Kennedy building down.
Or at least a portion of it.
Clerk treasurer could
Yeah,
pull old files to find out.
It's been a day or two and I'm old now, so.
they pull money from places I didn't know where they're pulling money from.
We would have to vote it on.
Truth.
Yeah,
So you were making a motion to table the.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Last thing on our new business we went through was the Crossroad Enterprises presentation on the Murphy Building site. Did you get all of that on the Murphy Building? You did that all at the same time, right? While you were asked?
Yes.
Okay, I put it under new business as well because we hadn't discussed that project before, but
The concrete guy just texted me for in front of Smoke and Pete's to repair that. He thinks it's, I believe it's $2,800 approximately. The mayor's got the paperwork right in front of him. I believe it was $2,800, but the mayor's not here.
I think he turned stuff into John.
should we go ahead and?
Are we gonna fix every sidewalk in downtown?
No, but if that was damaged when the city tore the building down, I kind of feel that's somewhere on
Chris, did you?
somebody.
Chris, did you damage it?
I wasn't there that day.
You say he's sitting in front of the mayor, is that what he said?
He said the mayor, he gave a
He turned it in.
He
turned it into the mayor.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I was just thinking if it would save money down the road, versus getting another concrete truck out and everything, but.
At all same time.
Well, we've already poured the new concrete for the seating area, and I'll have the outdoor awning. It'd be nice to have that all
Yeah,
in that cohesive, this is all new, this looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be my suggestion that while we're doing it, we get city utilities down there and we remove the water meter that was for the Kennedy
They
building.
looked at it the other day, yeah.
Yeah,
They said they
it can
were
be
going
done
to.
pretty easy. My machine's sitting there with the sidewalks damaged now, so we could rip it out if you guys decide to do it.
I'm gonna do it.
We're starting to toe that line of not having structure though, here. That's what I wanted to do by setting these programs and we're starting to, we just get comments and then voting on things. It just seems a little haphazard.
I get that. I guess my thought on this is we're gonna have concrete trucks pouring the sidewalk and the curbs and all that. If it could just be scheduled to all be done together, it would just save getting people back out a second time.
Save cost.
And it's not really going to any private individual. It's a city sidewalk.
My thought process on it is currently, if the mayor has an invoice, let's see if the mayor has thought of a fund to pay for that out of.
Okay.
We're gonna have monthly meetings. It's gonna be probably 30 days or so before you start doing the curb project over here, correct?
He can start.
He's gonna have it done in
He'll have it
30
done in
days.
a week.
Huh?
Yeah, we'll start on it. I mean, if we're cool to go, I'll have him saw cut and then as soon as I get my big machine back in there, we'll get moving on it.
So I mean, we can have, if need be, we can, if the mayor comes and says, I don't have a clue where we're gonna pay for that from, then we can have it
Have an
for
emergency meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Special meeting.
That's,
If it's something, cause I've got a pile of concrete there right now where I tore out for the outdoor seating. So if I pull it down there, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to make it go if you're gonna do it,
I just think you gotta be careful. We're stewards of this money and it has to.
I think,
I thought what we were gonna do though was the sidewalks and things downtown or in this area.
Right, but I mean, to just have it come in today and then make an immediate vote, it just seems a little rushed, especially if we're waiting on Preble to,
That's why I've always done things.
And I'm a little passionate about sidewalks after having an infant in a stroller. Our sidewalks in this town are terrible.
but I'm just an
If you guys
advisor,
have got
so.
10 minutes, let's walk down there and look at it, because what's gonna happen where some of it was damaged where it was, is there's gonna be 53 gravel out there in the sidewalk area. Or you're gonna have new concrete. And I get what he's saying, you know, you want a cohesive plan, but there's also, when the ball's rolling, you wanna kick it down the road too.
I'm thinking we should kind of plan to see what the mayor's intention is and then have a meeting before you guys start pouring concrete if the mayor's not gonna pay for it elsewhere. Kind of my thinking, because I just feel if our goal is to make downtown more accessible, not fixing the sidewalks, not achieving that goal.
Wonder if we do this and say, you know, if the mayor pays for it, if he's got funds someplace, fine. But if he doesn't, then we
You know he's not gonna find it, he's not gonna
We're
find
not
it.
telling him.
If we
He's
say-
not gonna watch the recording, is
I'm
he?
not gonna tell him that.
Let me throw this on you too, though. Let me throw this on you, if he's not going to find the funds, and we have other places that could use repair, at what point do we start wrapping those into it? Or cut more concrete, you know, if we've got other places that need attention.
Well, I think that we need to take a look at these sidewalks all around, like I said earlier. And we do need to have a plan to replace, and I'd start in the middle of town and work out to C and third to third. Because that was the original intent of the TIF district. So, and I know things change, and this was done years ago, but I know things change.
The paperwork's sitting on the mayor's desk, so he can take a look at it within the next.
I guess the question when you say the paperwork's there, did he solicit that or?
He asked me,
So he actually
get
asked
some
for a
numbers
bid.
for him on this sidewalk up here originally.
Okay, so he's already,
The one
okay.
that, for the big building, okay? We turned that in, and then when we decided we was gonna do the outdoor parking and everything, we went ahead and everything that we talked about, like our curb cuts, our future access, everything, the guy put together some numbers and turned it in here, not realizing, I guess, that he wasn't gonna be part of the deal up here. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know that the paperwork wouldn't be available.
There he is, right there.
Well,
Hello.
See you guys ready to wrap up?
You're in the hot seat, bud. You came in at the right time.
I did,
The,
I gotta go.
the sidewalk in front of the old Kennedy building that was damaged,
Right.
they're asking basically, since the city had it tore down, the sidewalk was damaged, basically from the city project. He said that there is a, quote on your desk for the amount that it would cost to fix that.
Yeah, Brian's come in at $2,800 for that section.
Is it your thought process, was it for the city to come up with the funds? Or is it requested from you that be something that the redevelopment commission look at?
Well, the two things right now, there's a water meter there that we're looking at possibly capping off and removing, but there's also a gas line that goes underneath there that we've got to do a locate on before anything can be pulled out of there.
We called that in today, sir.
That's what I said, yeah, I think yesterday they said that they called it in. So that's gotta be done, just knowing it ahead of time. Now, what I have found in the ordinance, which I have tried to find out, who owns that city sidewalk? Is it the city or is it the owner of the building in front of it? And according to the ordinance, it's not clear. It says the owner of the building is responsible for the sidewalk. Now, is that residential or is that commercial? So it's not clear if I meaning the city, actually owns that sidewalk. And that's one thing I'm trying to get determination from the lawyer and a couple other people, if that's, you know, whose responsibility is it? You know, $2,800 is kind of on hold from my mind. I thought that may be something the Redevelopment Commission could come up with, or is it something that's gonna come out of either the civic or the utility side? So that part I haven't really determined until I get some other further clarification of who actually owns that sidewalk. I've asked Slover, I've asked a couple people around here, and it's like, well, the ordinance says, and it does say that it's responsibility of the owner of the building. I forget how it's phrased, but, so that's what I've been looking at on that $2,800 of whose responsibility is it, knowing that it's gonna be until they do the locate before they can even pull it up to re-cement it, so. I don't know if that clarifies anything or not, but that's where I'm at on that.
I know sidewalks have been done before we did all those, I did all those sidewalks on Second and Third Street in front of the people's homes with grants that we did. And we have done sidewalks for individuals that's, with city money. Maybe I was wrong in doing it, but.
Yeah, we've done sidewalks alongside community crossings areas,
Yeah.
like D Street
Yeah.
and 7th.
That's how that grant money
It's
stays.
out of that grant money that we've been able to utilize that, so we're trying to do that as well. But, people come to me about sidewalks, I say, well, policy is we tear it up, haul it away, and it's up to you to replace. So does that include, because I think the AT&T did that sidewalk on that side in '98 when they ran new conduit down through there.
Right.
The AT&T building,
Huh?
down across from the old Gene Martin.
Oh,
I think they ran, I thought it was on the east side sidewalk that they ran through there and all the way down towards the post office and stuff. But they dug up all that sidewalk.
That was part of your grandpa's redevelopment or downtown
Yeah,
revitalization project, wasn't it? Those sidewalks.
they replaced all the downtown sidewalks. I think what it comes down to is, did the city of Linton, it may not be our sidewalk, but did the city of Linton damage the sidewalk? More than likely, yes, when we had the building tore down, we damaged the sidewalk. So now it's just a matter of who's paying for it. Is the city gonna pay for it, or is the redevelopment commission gonna pay for it? I mean,
I guess a question on that quote, the $2,800, was that assuming that it would be done at the same time as like his other concrete work down here? Or was that quote, if it was done separately, that's what the quote would be?
It wouldn't matter either way.
It wouldn't matter, I didn't know if it would save some.
There was two
We did
quotes,
it.
and I think the other one was for the Murphys. I can go get it,
It was 7,000 something.
My mind's saying that we're not talking a lot, and the TIF money's, my understanding, is coming from the increased value of the businesses. They increase, that money gets directed to TIF. That building, I mean, just what he's planning there with the outdoor seating is going to substantially, I would think, improve the assessed value. And be able to make that more accessible is kind of our goal, is to improve that tax base.
true.
Yes.
There's two quotes on this one. There's one with 2,800. The other is 5,800 for labor and concrete to create new concrete entrance 6 inches thick with the center and parking lot. Is that?
That's the future for Vincent.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's not, we would have to address that.
I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking,
You're setting
I'm
precedent.
kind of, yeah, I know, that's what makes me nervous.
If you want to pay for it, I have no problem with that.
I think the city wanted to pay for it. I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I said it first.
No, we said before you came in the door.
Well, if it's not gonna change the price at all, then I think tabling it is till another time, or seeing what happens until we have an actual program isn't gonna hurt. Cause I was thinking they were gonna do it at the same time, it would save some money if it was poured at the same time, but.
They've already poured concrete up there, right? And that,
Yeah,
where the old
for the outdoor
catering.
seating area, yes. I guess what tabling it does just as a contractor, I gotta come back. I gotta load up equipment, we gotta, and I understand it's,
Gotta reschedule.
yeah, it's just all rescheduling, kicking the ball down, it just delays things, you know.
But
And I understand your point, Jared.
the,
But, you
This
know, you want
commission can't-
downtown to look nice.
this
don't you?
commission cannot be beholden to the contractors. That's just what I'm saying. If
Sure.
we are assigned to be good financial stewards of this money.
Absolutely.
So I just wanna make sure that that's what we're doing. That's why I wanted to be involved with this, and if that's wrong, I'm sorry, but.
No, I get what you're saying, 100%. Sorry.
Has anybody got a motion, anybody got a thought? I'm going to just make a motion that we go ahead and pay for it, get it done, because it's gonna increase the ability of people to move up and down the road. And it's gonna make that restaurant more successful, increasing our tax base, which is our goal. And my wife will be mad at me if she knew that I didn't push for fixing a sidewalk, so
That's your motion.
that's my motion.
I will second it on condition of we set parameters on submissions for these funds.
Yeah, and I'd like to, I think, note in mind that that is with the assumption it was damaged by the city originally, or by the actions of tearing down the building. So at least that caveat there.
Who tore down that building, if I might ask?
Pardon?
Who tore down the building?
Me?
So you created more work for yourself.
I can tell you how it got damaged. Every load had to come out through the sidewalk on the highway, because we had to go in and mine all of it out.
We got a motion.
And stack it up right there,
Okay.
so when the machine was.
All in favor?
Aye.
So,
So we'll get it all done at the same time.
get it done and that'll be taken care of, all right? Yeah, I guess we are good to call this meeting, make a motion that we close this meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.